And we are live. How are y'all doing today? Oh my goodness, my camera looks like I'm about to fall over. Let's fix that a little bit. There we go. Oh my goodness. Okay, so today we are, oh no, the droid cam. Not the droid cam issue again. No. What's going on with the droid cam? Oh my gosh, man. Okay, so unfortunately no camera because I cannot get this droid camera application to work. So we're just gonna take it away. All right, I'm so sorry, man. It's really very annoying. Okay, so today, as you can see, we have the playtest survey. According to the form, the playtest is going on until October 29th. Unfortunately, in the last session, we did not get to fight the last boss of the book. My hope was to get book 4 complete with the psychic hitting level 15. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, and that's fine because I'm not gonna. We had a really, really great social encounter that was not planned, and definitely not in the book as to be planned. But it was great. It was on the spot. It was on the fly, and it was very, very, very fun and very engaging. So I'm not against that, and I'm all for it. Especially with a group, or especially with a book that's very, that part of the book is very, very combat heavy. So that was fun. The playtest runs until October 29th, which is that Friday, so I wouldn't be able to get that review out because I was hoping to get a really tough boss fight in for the review, but we did have another boss fight, and we will get to that as we go through here. But without any further ado, we have the Dark Archive playtest survey. I'm only going to be doing this from the side of the Psychic. I did not playtest the Thaumaturge, which is fine, but it is what it is. So the survey will collect your feedback on the character classes from Dark Archive so that we can improve them for the final game. Also, I'll go ahead and put in the link here into the chat, and I'll have the live replay for the chat should be there. So there's the Dark Archive class survey, and then we'll get to the other one as well. You can answer questions about any number of classes, and how many you choose to talk about will affect how long the survey takes. If you want to leave the survey and come back later, you can do that. So after you complete a page, when you return, use the previous and next button at the bottom of each page instead of the back arrows. Before we start talking about classes, we'd like to know a little bit about you. What is your gender? I am a male. I am I'm 32 years old. So there you go, YouTube. If you want to stalk me, I'm 32 years old. I am multiple ethnicities. I'm actually half black and half German. So, half black and half German. Or Blurman or Jerfrican, as my brother coined. Jerfrican. So, let's see. How experienced are you with Pathfinder? If we're just talking about 2nd edition, I'd say I'm very experienced. To say I'm extremely experienced, I would say that. Have you played one or more sessions of Pathfinder Society or Starfinder Society the past 6 months? Not in the past 6 months, unfortunately, no. How experienced are you with tabletop role-playing games in general? Extremely experienced. Which tabletop role-playing game have you... Oh, I'd say very. I would say you can say this at the 10-year mark, but not until then. Which tabletop role-playing game have you played the most in the past? Oh, 2nd edition. Hello. Durr. Yes, absolutely. Do you want to give feedback on the Psychic? Yes. I played a Psychic and want to take part in the survey. I GM'd a Psychic. I want to take part of this survey. I mean, technically I did both. I played MGM. Perfect. Awesome. I GM'd and played one. What was the highest character the level reached? 14. What adventures did you play? A 2nd edition adventure path. That's what I did. Let's see. What ancestry did you choose? I chose Fetchling, which doesn't seem to be on here. Which makes a lot of sense for them, just because of the darkness. And occultism and fetchlings just go hand in hand if you like doing shadow stuff, man. It's so good. I did precise discipline, which is the intelligence-based discipline. For them, which conscious mind did you choose? I chose the infinite eye. Very, very cool. Oh, wait, what's the infinite? Let me just double check, because let's see. I don't want to get that wrong. Let's see. I chose the infinite eye. Yes, okay, that's right. One out of the battle. So let me read out infinite eye for those who do not know it. Infinite eye, the true strength of the mind lies in the knowledge it contains, with each new observation contributing to the totality of its experiences. To grow your experiences, and with them your power, you devote yourself to observing as much as possible, casting your senses through space and time with clairvoyance and precognition. These are the kind of psychics who like to be able to observe anything around them. Your detect magic works is heightened, like, and when you amplify it, because essentially only your surface psi cantrips and your deepest psi cantrips can be amplified, unless you choose a class feat that allows you to grab another one. But your detect magic is a range of 60 feet. It's very, very powerful. Very, very cool stuff. So, out of the battles you fought in the playtest, how often were you able to enter a psyche? So, I'll go ahead and touch on entering your psyche or unleashing your psyche. This is something you gain the ability to do at level 3, or at level 1, actually, and beyond. Essentially, when it's round 3, you can, round 3 of an encounter, you can unleash your focused intent or unleash a different psyche, which you can also gain different psyches through class feats. And for the next 3 rounds, when you amplify your cantrips, which usually cost you 1 focus point, they no longer cost you a focus point. So you can essentially cast your amplified cantrips for free. Which are slightly more powerful versions than, I would, slightly to medium, more like, if I'd, out of 10, probably like a 4 out of 10 in terms of more powerful versions of the cantrips. Very, very nice stuff. I would say very often is somewhat often. I mean, because it's 1 action, I'm going to put very often. Like, being able to just use 1 action to go into that is really, really nice. So let's see here. Check the box for each level 1 through 6 class feat you selected. Okay, I do not have that memorized. I'm going to have to pull up my Founder VTT. Oh my goodness! Should have had his whole build right in front of me. That was really sloppy of me. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm so sorry. Here we go. Let's see. Foundry VTT. Come on. There we go. Load it up. Okay, get loaded in the game. But how is your guys' Sunday, or how'd your weekend go or is going? Please let me know in the comments. Even if you couldn't make it into this live event, let me know in the comments section later. I'll still read it. I'll still reply to you. I'll talk to you. I'll chat. I'll hang out. We're cool. We're cool, man. Alright, let's see. Still pulling up Foundry VTT. It's almost done. It's got to load in Age of Ashes, which is going to take just a few minutes because we're only in book 4. We're about to wrap that up. Super, super exciting. Very exciting conclusion. Be sure to check out the session I'm going to post probably later today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. For the Age of Ashes, the Age of Ashes adventure path. It is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be super, super awesome. Okay, Nudix, let's see what you took. Level 1. Class feat. Nothing, so. Warp space. Alright, here we go. Warp space. Quick rundown of warp space. As you unleash your spell, if you amplify your spell, as you unleash your spell to blend a distorted magic, allowing your spell to strike your target from an unexpected vector. So you can use the amp, or you basically use this amp on any psychic granted spell, and you can choose to cast it from 30 feet in a random place of your choice, which is really great when you're trying to attack stuff from behind cover that you know is there, it's hidden to you, and all that kind of fun stuff. Very, very interesting. Next, level 4, we got Psychic Beacon, another amp. As your spells strike a target, you can plant a beacon in their mind that announces their presence. Again, really cool stuff. You hit someone with this amplified spell, if the target was invisible, they're now merely concealed. It's pretty much a really cool version of like Fairy Fire. Very, very cool. So that was Psychic Beacon. He took it 4th level. Okay. Level 6, Parallel Breakthrough. I like this because, so they only, like, mine, or the Infinite Eye only grants you the Daze cantrip, which, as we all know, if you're fighting something that is higher level than you, it is likely it will succeed against your will save. Daze does 0 damage on a will save. So, being able to grab a different cantrip was wonderful, and so I grabbed the telekinetic projectile cantrip from the one of the other which one was it from the other was it Silent Whisper that does it? Or no, Silent Whisper grants Daze, the Daze amplification, and I really liked how that worked because I only had telekinetic projectile. Not that telekinetic projectile is bad, it's just that I like the utility that came with the Daze, because you can penalize people for if they fail their will save. Like if you're fighting a bunch of minions, is really wonderful. Telekinetic projectile is good, but the Daze one was also great, so I took that. Let's see, that was Parallel Breakthrough. Next is the let's see, Deeper Breakthrough. Oh wait, hold on. Parallel Breakthrough is the Psy cantrip. Yeah, and I also grabbed the Deeper Psy cantrip as well. Which was, so it was really interesting that you can really kind of pick and choose, like you can really grab a few things from other, did they not? They're not. Oh, that's 1 through 6. Okay, so we're already at 8 and 14. Oh my goodness. Deeper Psy cantrip, or Deeper Breakthrough. Okay. Autonomic, I believe, yeah. Autonomic telepathy. Super, super cool. You can literally have an AoE radio, like conference, like pretty much like a 15-foot telepathic Zoom call with your friends, like not sight obviously, but you can communicate telepathically 15 feet around you. This is amazing for like while you're having a social encounter with an NPC, you can literally be having an entire conversation with your allies while you're trying to deduce information, and so you can actually kind of rule having meta chat, or like not meta gaming, but like, oh well, I want to talk to him about, I want to talk to you about this, and I'm not really comfortable. Like you could be having 2 conversations at the same time. It's really, really cool. Level 12, he took Mantra of Discipline. Mantra of Discipline. Let's see, your mantra grants you a +1 status bonus to saving throws against illusion and enchantment. Yeah. So essentially, what you can do is this is literally just a 1-action ability that allows you to get yourself a +1 bonus against against illusion and enchantment. Really, really cool if you're going up against something that you think can control your mind. And again, I love the theme of this, because it's, again, they have ways to influence the minds of others, and also they have ways to protect their own mind against assault. Very, very cool. So let's see. Unleash Reflexive Sustainment is the 14th level one I got, and this is a great... so this is the Psychic's version of effortless concentration. And this makes... because a lot of people are saying, well, why don't they... because essentially it costs you 1 action, and it is your... for the next 3 rounds, you gain an extra action for the purposes of using Sustain. And it only lasts 3 rounds. There is a class feat you can take at level 10 or 8, where you can... or 8 or 10, that allows you to unleash Psyche for 5 rounds instead of 3. I like the theme of this, because instead of just saying, oh, well, yeah, it's just a free action, no matter when you use a spell you can just sustain it, it makes sense that a psychic would need to take the get the initially prepare for that mentally, because they're already doing so much mentally, whether they're charismatic or intelligence based. They're already so loaded mentally with I guess pressure, or just so much on their mind, just as psychics, as they're trying to read the environment and take everything. And I really liked it as an offering. It's not just a permanent, every time you cast a sustain spell, it's just free action to do that. I like it. So let's see. When choosing your class feats, how did you prioritize the following options? Let's see. Gaining actions based on my subconscious mind. This would be the intelligence charisma. The conscious mind would be, let's see. The conscious mind would be your silent eye, distant grasp, and the other one, I always forget the name of the other. Silent whisper. Let's see. The benefit of casting related to casting with spell slots, new physical abilities beyond spells. I would say highs. Yeah, I wanted the psychic abilities beyond spells for sure. I liked the ability to get. I guess I could just do this. Oh, that's okay. That's how you do. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, just realized that. So gaining new cantrips or psych cantrips, gaining new psyches. I didn't really. So I would say my conscious mind came second. Subconscious mind came fourth. Getting new psi cantrips. The psi cantrips are so great. The psyches are great. Gaining benefits to relate casting with spell slots, not really a big thing, because they're such a cantrip heavy class. I wasn't really too worried about spell slots, and I had another way of dealing with that, and that's with the archetypes I took. So the archetypes I took were Lore Master, because he's intelligence based, and that just made a lot of sense for him. I say him. Nudix Zalar was the name of my psychic. If you haven't been watching those sessions on for Age of Ashes. He took Lord Master, and he also took the Shadow Magic so the Shadow Caster dedication, because he was a fetchling. Fetchlings are from the Shadow Plane. Shadow Caster dedication. It was super, super cool, super thematic. And it allowed the ancestry to come together, and even the ancestry feats paired well with it. It was super, super awesome. And with that, later on, as you at level 10 as a Shadow Caster, you can get Shadow Reservoir, which gives you more spells. More spells, and they're specifically shadow spells, which again pairs well with the occultism stuff. Just super, super great. With that, were you satisfied with the mechanics of your character, I was very satisfied. Actually, I'll say it. Extremely satisfied. I liked that it was a true half caster. What I mean by that is if you've played, as you know, with because it's a 6-hit die class. The other 6-hit die classes being wizard, sorcerer. They get 3/4 progressively in terms of their spell slots per spell level that they can cast. I liked that this was a true half caster, meaning they had a progression of 1, 2, or 2, 1, however you like to see it. Again, I was able to extend that a little bit, not pure, like it's not like a true extension, but it kind of is. With the shadow spells and reservoir and the secrets of shadow and all that stuff, where your shadow literally is able to cast an additional spell slot per day as it becomes. I mean, I rule it as like a semi-sentient being just because it's more narratively fun and cool to have like your shadow be living, especially if you're playing a fetchling. Like a fetchling with a living sentient shadow. Come on, you gotta give it up. It was awesome. Rate your satisfaction with playing this class at low levels 1 through 6. I can't actually answer this. My GMPC came in at level 13. So 13 through 14. So unfortunately, I can't really answer that. With 7 through 14, extremely satisfied. They were super fun. And we'll go next here. How satisfied were you with the class's basic statistics? The key ability was fine. The hit points, I like that there's 6. A lot of people don't like 6 hit point. And a lot of people, I've heard a few fair share of people argue that it should be a 8 hit point class because it doesn't have full spell progression. I would actually completely disagree. I think that the Psy cantrip heightening, again, we'll get to my final thoughts at the end here, so we'll just keep going through here. Perception proficiency, I think the perception proficiency is fine. They, in terms of let me go to their class feature table. So perception, they're trained in perception. The highest they ever get, I believe, is master, which makes sense because they're not a rogue or a investigator. Their saving throws are fine. They scale just like the other 6-hit die classes. I'm okay with that. Number of trained skills was 3 plus your intelligence modifier, which I think the only change I might make to that would be if you're charisma based, so if you're the emotional version, the emotional acceptance, they should get 1 more trained skill. You become trained in a skill of your choice. Or if you want to be real thematic because they're charisma based, say you become trained in either deception, diplomacy, intimidation, or intimidation. Allow them to gain the skill point that the person who is most likely going to get more. So because if you're intelligence based, if you're using the precise mind or precise, the precise version with intelligence, you're gonna get more skill points than the charisma start. Which, like I said, if you want to give them 1 skill to off balance or to counterbalance that, I think that'd be a fair trade. And I don't think the intelligence person would really mind because they're still going to probably end up with 1 more even past that. Weapon proficiencies are totally fine. You're trained in simple weapons. That's better than a wizard. So again, absolutely no complaints. Armor proficiencies, unarmored. They're glass cannons. So, or I would say they're not glass cannons. So let me take that back. But they're casters, like they're true casters. So no, they should not have a bunch of armor proficiencies. If you want that, you know how to build for that, and you can figure that out. How interesting were the different mechanical options? Subconscious mind, well, intelligence or charisma. I don't think there should be a wisdom, because they're not drawing divine power. So keep it intelligence and charisma. I think that's great. Conscious mind, very interesting. I hope there's one more. I'd like to see one more type of psychic. I don't know what it is, but that's just, let me think, because they have the, yeah, my major issue with Distant Grasp, which was one of the conscious minds, I just feel like their mage hand could have been a little more unique. So essentially the issue I have with mage hand or with the Distant Grasp was, I really think that Paizo should explore making heightened versions of Mage Hand that allow you to attempt thievery checks that use your similar to it would work similar to telekinetic maneuver, where the person with Mage Hand could attempt to disarm I would say disarm or have little, I guess disarm or maybe trip, maybe, but again, that would completely nullify telekinetic projectile. I guess it would work similar to the rogue's ability where they could steal something off of them, but again, they would be using their charisma with the base of their spell attack roll against their perception or reflex or something of the sort. I'll just give them a little more options. I felt like the Distant Grasp was a little on the side. On the opposite side, that's just from the cantrip side, though. Let me say that. That's from the cantrip side. I think the telekinetic projectile was wonderful. The ability for them to push back a target was awesome. That was super awesome. My only thing was, I think the only real it seemed like the Distant Grasp was an attempt at raw power with the psychic. I would have liked to see a little more utility with the Mage Hand cantrip, I guess is what I'm saying. Other than that, I'm not saying it's bad. I just think could have used a little work there. The Psy cantrips were fantastic. The amplifications, again, outside of Mage Hand, were phenomenal. The Psyches could use some work. I will say that. The Psyches could use some work. I understand that they have to have benefit and drawback. I'm not against benefit drawback. I think some of the feat cantrips, or the feat psyches that you could take, some of the penalties were really vicious, or the benefits just didn't outweigh the drawback, because again, -1s and especially -2s in fights where you're fighting creatures that are stronger than you are very scary, especially with AC penalties. AC penalties for a class that cannot, outside of taking certain archetypes to get better armor or such things, that cannot compete with martial characters that can jack up their AC very high without metagaming. Having anything that is ripping off AC is really brutal. I would have rather had that go to saves, because that makes sense that if I'm gaining spell power, I'm more susceptible to getting hit with spells if I'm choosing to overcrank my spell capability. I think that would have been a more fair trade, but again, that's fine. The spells from spell slots, Great. Perfect. Do not change those. Don't touch those. They're perfect. How powerful were these different mechanical options used by the Psychic class? How powerful? I don't think it really mattered whether you were charismatic or intelligence-based. I don't think that changed your power capability. For your conscious mind, meh, I guess. Like, again, I don't really think it made a difference. Your cantrips made a huge difference. Because again, some were made for raw power, some were made for utility. So again, I think that I'm not going to say they're just somewhat powerful, because all of them are very powerful. I actually made my Psychic more utility focused. The Infinite Eye is far more utility focused than they are damage focused. The amps, how powerful were different mechanical options? Very powerful. If you wanted to go raw power, it was there. If you really wanted raw power, it's there. That's not what I wanted, and I'll get to that at the very end of this. Psyches. The Psyches were fine. Spells from spell slots, those are made a big difference. Again, if you really just wanted that raw power, you chose Distant Grasp or Silent Whisper. Yeah, Silent Whisper. Ha! Got it. Okay, Silent Whisper. Okay. Easy. How easy to understand were these different mechanical options? Ooh. As a GM who's played a long time, or who's played Pathfinder since 2nd edition since Playtest, they were very easy for me. But for others, I could say, like, this is not a class. This is not a class. This is not a beginner-friendly class. This is pretty in-depth class, especially if you've never played 2nd edition, and let alone ever played a tabletop role-playing game. I would not recommend this to a new player unless they really wanted to learn the game. Conscious mind. Oh, the subconscious mind is extremely easy to explain. The conscious mind. There we go. Very easy. Psycantrips. I'd say easy enough. Easy enough. Again, if you're really gonna dedicate to the class, easy enough. Amps. Easy enough. Psyches. They were easy to understand. Easy to implement. Not easy to implement. Spells and spell slots. Very easy. Select the level 1 through 6 class feat that I thought was the most powerful. Psychic Beacon. Pretty nuts if you know how to play with it right. The level 8 through 14. I know no one else except me is going to choose this right here. Unless they're a super heavy social roleplay group. Autonomic telepathy, insanely strong. The levels 16 through 20. Where is it? Become Thought. Super awesome feat. I'll go ahead and read that to you guys here since I don't have that on my sheet. Become Thought. Transmutation Psychic trait, level 20. You shed some of your material form, becoming a being of pure thought. You gain resistance 10 to physical damage, but weakness 5 to mental damage, and weakness 10 to any effect that deals damage specifically targeting a spirit, such as Spirit Blast. Once per century, when you die, you automatically return to life as one living sentient creature on your plane. That remembers you. The memories allow you to reconstruct yourself from their thoughts. Freaking awesome feat. I thought that was super thematic. Super cool. In the playtest, the Psychic has a more limited number of spell slots compared to standard classes like Bard, Druid, Witch. In this exchange, it has a number of focus cantrips. Ability to use focus spells, recovering more focus points. Yes, I liked the fact that they had a 2 focus regain at level 1. That was a huge, huge bonus. So let's see here. Would you prefer... What would you prefer for the final version? I prefer to reduce the ability to use focus spells more with bigger refocus in exchange for more spell slots. I prefer to remove the spell slots of focusing. Ooh. Remove spell slots entirely for additional focus on psi cantrips, amps, and similar abilities. If they were going to make a spellcaster that didn't have spell slots, I would love to see that. Because that would be a very, very unique spellcaster. That would be a huge challenge. See, I prefer to move. Man, that's... You know what? I'm going to go with it. I would love to... Paizo, I'm challenging you. I want to see this. I want to see this idea come to fruition. Because as it stands right now, which again, I'll get to why in terms of occultism later, I feel this so strongly about this about occultism and why this is a cool class. If you guys made a caster that only used cantrips and amps and abilities around that, and they had an action economy around manipulating the area around them or sensing the area around them or manipulating it. Oh my gosh, I would love to see that. Please make that a thing. In the playtest, the Psychic is a spontaneous spellcaster. Intelligence or charisma on their subconscious mind. Which do you prefer? Yeah, I prefer the playtest version, spontaneous with the option. Yeah, 100%. I don't think that should be touched. I think that a lot of people would argue that because it's intelligence, it should be prepared. I disagree with this because I think that essentially what the intelligence version of this spellcaster is doing, it doesn't function like Wizard where they were taught this. Through their study of the mind, it's kind of like the way I kind of see Psychic is they're the person, as we know in real life, most people cannot use more than 10 to 12% of their brain or of like their full conscious mind and subconscious mind. And I feel like psychics are the people that have, and we know that geniuses in real life have broken that 14 or 15% threshold. I feel like the psychic is someone who's tapped into the 20% to 25% region, either through study of the mind or through emotional, like allowing emotion to truly, their emotional side of their mind to truly take hold of their mind and push themselves to a new limit. For those that don't know, like neuroscience, essentially in terms, I believe that the right side of your mind is the creative side of your mind. It's also the more emotional side of your mind, where the left side is the more logical side of your mind. So I feel that's the reason why they chose one side to be like, you choose, oh well, subconscious mind, you're choosing to say that my character roots their thought and the way they behave based on intelligence or based on charisma, based on that creativity, that emotional side of themselves. Either way, both sides are very, very powerful, right? So that's not to say one is better than the other, but again, I think whoever was there at Paizo and brought this idea to the table, I think they're also someone who understands that and studied neuroscience, at least to some base understanding. So again, that's enough of my rant on that though. So, the approach used for the playtest was to base the psychic in tropes of fantasy instead of science fiction from iconic psychic abilities in various media. I like it. I don't think it's science fiction. Oh yeah, I like the playtest version, but I still think it's too science fiction-y. Turn towards science and the terminology. No, I like the playtest version. Keep it as it is. I think the fantasy side of it is great. Don't touch it. In the playtest, psychic is an uncommon class As psychic magic is from a subgenre of fantasy that's somewhat distinct, and psychic magic is less well known outside of certain regions. How common do you think psychics and psychic phenomena should be? I honestly think they'd be uncommon. The reason why they wouldn't be rare in this setting, or get out of here. If you don't think they should be in the setting, then just don't have them. But don't take that away from other people. Uncommon reason why is I can imagine a wizard, like a lower level wizard, or an apprentice wizard, who had the thought of, you know, well, if being powerful comes down to your intelligence and your ability to prepare spells and all that stuff, I feel like a wizard who was studying, well, what if I just expand my mind instead of expanding my knowledge, would come across that kind of power or something of the sort. I think it's very, very interesting and leaves a lot of room, especially for the charisma side of things. The cathartic mage, very, very cool stuff. If you're not pairing up, I really think a powerful combination is cathartic mage. If you're rolling for your archetype, emotional acceptance and cathartic mage. Oh my goodness, I can imagine how much fun that would be. My overall enjoyment of the class was 5 stars, not even memeing. I loved this class. Do you want to give feedback on the thaumaturge? No, I'm not going to. I did not play one and I want to take part. No, I don't want to. Thank you for taking the survey. Oh my gosh, there's COVID everywhere. What do we do? Okay. So now, off to part 2. But before we start part 2, let me go ahead and get this image up for you that I had made some time ago to describe my overall opinion on why I think a lot of people just don't understand why oh my goodness. There we go. So this is something I made. This is my opinion. Okay, so please, and again, like you can feel free to flag me. I don't care. That's fine. This is just from my experience with playing or GMing a bunch of different casters before. I feel like this is the so again, this is subjective, so feel free to argue with me all you'd like. I will engage in healthy debate. I will not label you as a domestic terrorist, and we can have a good time. So, with Pathfinder 2nd Edition, this is something I think a lot of people need to understand. That different spell traditions have different purposes. Arcane Magic. And again, from first, 1 being the worst and 5 being like 5 stars and like the best, I think Arcane hands down has the best damage potential in the game. Crowd control at about a 3, group buffs at a 1, self buffs at a 2, healing at a 1, because any of the healing they can do is only temporary HP. Divine. Now a lot of people would say, oh well, Liam, Divine, what do you mean Divine's only 2? The reason why Divine is 2 in terms of its damage is because it has to typically be alignment specified, or it has to be a very specific type of target. So unless you know what you're going to fight at all hours of the day, every day, your damage may be only half as powerful or be completely negated, which is really unfortunate. I think we've all who've ever played, those of you who've played Divine characters, please let me know in the comments below or in the, you know, all that. I'm telling you, all know what I'm talking about. Crowd control for Divine, meh, kind of meh. I'd say lowest end on the board. Although we know when it comes to buffs, whether it's group buffs, self-buffing, or healing, Divine is untouchable in this department. So, with Primal, I'll leave Occult for last. Primal damage. If you know how to set up damage, you know how to set things up. Insanely good. Crowd control. If you're outside or in an area that has malleable terrain, crazy strong. Group buffs, kind of meh. Self buffs are 5. Now the reason I say self buffs are 5 is because of all the polymorph and capabilities you have to bolster yourself with different animal forms and all these a lot of versatility in this department. And their healing, pretty good actually pretty good healing. Not divine levels of healing, but they share a lot of the same healing spells that divine has. Now for occult, and this is why this is important when we're talking about the psychic. Occult's damage is only a 3 in the raw damage department. I say that because if you literally just look at the damage numbers of a lot of the spells, they're just not high. But most of them have conditions that follow. So that is why in the crowd control section, they're a 5. Occult has the best shutdown or enabling abilities in spells in the game. Again, like having the agonizing despair that hits for mental damage, also amplifies frightened condition, or grants frightened condition. Just a lot of abilities that deal damage and grant conditions. Almost all the other spell traditions have to choose between granting conditions or doing damage, or even if they do, it's very low damage with a condition. Where occult, it's like half and half. You get half the decent damage that a wizard would get or a primal caster would get, but you also get that condition put onto them. Group buffs, again, a lot of divine and occult group buffs are similar to one another. Self buffs, pretty decent, and their healing, pretty okay. So again, this is just moving forward, so we have this understanding of why my take on again, I don't think a lot of people understand that occultism is not meant for raw damage. And this is why when people look at the numbers of the psychic, they're like, oh, the numbers aren't that great. Yeah, no duh, they're not that great. They're not meant to be great. They're meant to shut people down. Blindness, frightened, fleeing, clumsy with spells, all sorts of crazy stuff. In my opinion, you don't understand what the purpose, like the true purpose of occultism is. It's not to do damage. Stop trying to force it to do damage. But that's my rant on occultism as a spell tradition. So, with that, we'll go to the next one. This is the open response survey. Open-ended responses. This is for general comments about the classes. I did both. Absolutely. What was your favorite aspect of the class? So my favorite aspect of playing the psychic class was the overall thematic or the thematic choices presented were fantastic. Even with two very distinct subconscious. Let me do a subconscious minds. Cool. Were there any aspects of the class that didn't live up to your expectations? Again, the only okay, let's see. There were two aspects that fell a bit short. One would be the Mage Hand or Mage Hand amplification effect. And then 2 would be the benefits versus drawbacks of the unleash of the unleash, or sorry, Psyche, of the Psyche, that's right, Psyche class feats. That would honestly be all. If you can name one power ability you feel traditionally possesses that is not in the playtest version, what would it be? No, I think there were just from like basic design. No, I think from just a pure design, I think they were fantastic. Is there anything the Psychic currently does that you think conceptually shouldn't be able to do? No, I think they were fine. Do you have any other feedback for the class? Thinking. Let's see. I don't think so. Not because I said it's really just can't, like, these two are the only real. Oh yeah, okay. I am truly interested in the prior surveys mention of let me see. I'm truly interested in the prior surveys mention of an idea for the Psychic that was based around the ability to remove the spell slots and design it completely around psi cantrips, amps, and psyches. I absolutely want to see that idea. If it isn't, if it is not available, or if it is not, if it doesn't become the, or yeah, if it is at all possible, this form of the psychic should be available as, that's what, yeah, the matter of fact, there we go, as a subconscious mind. That's how you can fix it. You can get best of both worlds. People that don't want to do it don't have to do it. People that want to do it can do it. Be available as a subconscious mind. There we go. Wait, hold on. Did that go through? Okay. Whew. I thought I lost all that. That would have sucked. Did you play the thermometer? No, I don't want to discuss it because that would be unfair. Whoops. Wait, hold on. Oh. No. Do you have any other comments? No. Not applicable. There we go. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me today with this this survey fill out. I hope this helped for those who played a psychic or wanted to know someone else's take on the psychic. This was my overall experience, and hope you all enjoyed the stream today. And like I said, if you guys have any questions or want to back and forth with me about it, please also be sure to, if you guys have any feedback, or even if you didn't play the class and you just have time to look it over, Paizo needs all the help they can get. I will link the other one in here. Oh, that's the thanks. Oh my goodness. Yeah, here we go. I will link the other one here in the chat. Here's the other link. So, and if those don't work, let me know. I'll send them. I'll put them on my Discord. Oh, matter of fact, I'll put them on my Discord as soon as I'm done here. And with that, please, everyone, enjoy the rest of their weekend. If not, enjoy your day. And I will see you all in the next video. Take it easy.